Good morning. Another day of editing from the studio in front of part of my whiteboard. I'm still hiding most of it. Hopefully I can show it to you actually one day. I should film it and show it to you later on when the book is out, when you want spoilers and how it's been done. I'll do that. Thank you for the idea. Anyways, sorry. Another day at the studio, another day at editing, and a reflection that came through while I was working on finishing this draft and just like collating all the pieces and realizing what one character was about. I had a vague idea, but it all clicked together. Anyways, I want to talk about the Karpman triangle of victim, rescuer, perpetrator, or aggressor, and an idea of replacing one of the piece by soul, intuition, love, God, whatever you like. So let's get in on it. I've just heard that the triangle was coined by the psychologist Karpman in 1968, very recently, but I've known this idea for a long time. As soon as you dive into psychology, and I started diving into psychology and inner work, while I realized through human interactions and interaction within toxic relationships. So this triangle where one person is the victim and one person is the perpetrator, and there is always a rescuer, but often there is a rescuer, even if it's within you, was really eye-opening to realize that what was happening in relationships. I'm sorry. But if you go beyond that, it's not just happening in relationship, it's happening everywhere. We put ourselves in group interaction, in one-on-one interaction with our family, with our friends, or most especially with our lovers, partners. We often put ourselves, or the mind put ourselves in this situation. I'm the victim. I'm the victim from the world. I'm the victim from whatever happened. I'm the victim from that person. They should change. And we always make out, it's not always, but very often, we try to find the bad guy so as not to take responsibility, so as not to accept a situation, forgive a situation. The bad guy can be a person, can be yourself, can be a politician, can be a situation, a societal reason, belief, politics, Trump, can be climate, like, oh, it's raining, so that's the rain's fault. It can be in very small way. We do that so as to not be in our power, so as to make ourselves small. We do that as being the victim, and so as to be complacent and stay in our easy triangle interactions, and just to not have to be in power. Because to be in power, and it doesn't mean power over, but to be in power within oneself comes with responsibility, comes with action, comes with becoming what you truly are, comes with changing things within you. And this triangle is in interaction, but is also within you. So you can actually victimize yourself to yourself, like, oh, this is the fault of my mind, my body, or whatever. Anyways, we outsource this thing, and if you start looking at it, you will see it everywhere. It's quite shocking in yourself and in others. It's okay. We all do it, we all have done it, and we will keep doing it. Although it's very important and interested to start working into coming back into your own power and responsibility instead of perpetuating this pattern and systems, which actually are one of the main societal problem, I believe. that we replay these loops. Societal problems, but also in relationship, in partnerships. Anyways, I was writing in one of the characters, and I realized something within the book, within this character, and within my own relationship. Relationships to myself, in my partnership, with friends, family, whatever it may be. So there is often this need to bring in a third as in a rescuer or a victim, whatever, depends what patterns you're replaying. And this third, I saw it as, it can actually come in the form of a baby. It can come as in the form of a pet. So we bring in this third element and you start talking about it and taking care of it and maybe sometimes blaming it too, or to save your marriage. It can be also like a flat, a situation, money. There's so many ways this triangle can play out. But I started to wonder, what if we're doing this because we actually need a third to create? And I'm going to jump to polarities and within the framework of masculine and feminine, but again, it's not gendered, and we can be in any type of relationship and bring in this polarity. So for ease of vocabulary, I'm using masculine and feminine, knowing that we all have masculine and feminine within us, and a full of a spectrum, and it doesn't have to be labeled as this, but that's how I see it. And I'm gonna get to what I want to say. I see that I'm like, woo. So if you are in this process of creation within yourself, you have a masculine, you have a feminine, you are gonna want to bring in a third that is neutral, a third that has a higher viewpoint, perhaps a higher awareness. And this third, I see it as inner voice, intuition, soul, something that both parties can reach out to, something that both parties can trust and really believe in. It can be love. It can be the relationship, actually, if you like personify the relationship. It can be God, if you have those beliefs. But then the tricky thing is to access it and to differentiate it from this other part of you. So if in a relationship, in an interaction, one of you has easier access to that higher wisdom or that perceptivity vision, and it's not just one of us, actually we both have access different ways at different times, and we are learning it. But it's about bringing in this wisdom without coloring it by the ego preferences and the ego wishes and expectations, because if we bring in the ego, the mind, the preferences, then it becomes all muddled up and we are thrown back into Karpman's triangle. Because if we have expectation of someone, then we are bringing them into a dynamic that is not very peaceful and aware. So it's just something I'm thinking about and proposing. What if to step out of this nightmare of a triangle, because it's a nightmare and it's bringing us nowhere. I can swear to you that victimizing, saving someone, or being an aggressor will bring you nowhere, but obviously to the release of patterns and stuff showing up. So what if we start, when we notice that pattern, to bring in another third, a neutral third, a third of awareness, a third that has a higher wisdom. So that's what I'm trying to do. It's not easy. Like when something shows up, I try to tap into the inner voice, what I call the inner voice, the intuition, the higher wisdom, when it's available and when there is an answer. So it's not easy to do like in the now moment, but it's actually bringing peace and another point of view that's removed from all the fears and expectation, etc., as I was saying. So yeah, that's what came up from one of my editing sessions of the Antarctic Bridge. It's really prevalent in the novel, I'd say. And yeah, it was always there in the book. I just started to realize what it means. And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Please let me know what you'd like to hear about, what you'd like to see, what you want to know about the process of the novel. Actually, if you have questions, I'm finishing in the next few days this draft and sending it off to agent. So if you have questions about the creative process, how I got started, I got through the first draft, the second draft, the third draft, how I'm finishing, the emotional process behind it, the studio, how I landed it, the retreats, whatever you'd like to ask, I'd love to answer your question, so let me know. I wish you a wonderful week full of creativity, and I'll talk to you soon.